Hi there, Ron here of Variable Play, and welcome to another Open Game Night.
Another open game night. Hey,
What's
folks,
up,
good
what's
evening.
up?
It's
Hi
Key over
Hey,
everyone.
here.
Japet. Japet, welcome back.
Welcome
Yes,
back.
Thank you
thank you for
again
having
for
me.
staying here.
Saying yes. What happened? You proposed or something? What?
No, as
Ayun.
long as na free ako every Thursdays, yeah, I'll be here with you guys.
Yes. Thanks, Japet, for accommodating. Hey,
Yeah.
Abby, how are you? Good evening.
Hey, Abby.
Uh,
Abby. Sorry, Abby. Hey,
Abby.
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 Abby. Sorry, I was posting. Hey, Abby. Sorry. Sorry naman. I'm talking to ChatGPT.
Yun. So, hey,
Hello.
folks, here's another Chat GPT series we have here tonight. We'll be discussing later our particular main topic in a while. We're just, Ron is just spreading the good word that we have a topic today. Please do argue in the comments. Please do give us your opinions later on. No problem. We'll be here to listen and to show them and scream. Don't forget to like and subscribe. People hate it when you say subscribe. So just just enjoy the show. If you like it, if you want to subscribe, sure, why not? So to move things forward.
All right. Yes. Got it. A while ago, because ChatGPT was telling me, "Oh, I can't answer those type of questions." Like, wait. What do you mean? What do you mean? Just repeat.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Is it that controversial? What are we talking about? So before we go into our topic, as usual, let's talk about the games we have been playing. If
Yes.
you ever got a chance to play games, go ahead.
Yep.
Kiyo, maybe you can share about games you've been
Alright.
playing lately.
Yeah. So haven't been playing Magic recently. Pretty busy, but I do have some digital goodies. First off, if people remember the old game called Sid Meier's Pirates, that age-old game which never aged so well, really, because no modern computer now can play it. Is that old? Hey, Danny.
You have
Good
to
evening.
virtualize it. You have to
Yeah.
virtualize.
Either that
Yeah.
or change the settings manually. So literally, you have to open the files and all that. There's a game that came out which is exactly the same, almost exactly the same, but more, in this case, a little bit more complex. But it's got the same engine and the same type of addictive gameplay. It's called Sailing Era. It's also has a coating of a JRPG kind of art style to it
Nice.
as well. So Sailing Era is a pretty good one that I've been playing recently. I just bought it. What this today? Wow, yeah. And also another.
Oh, you did? Cool.
Yeah. I also got another one called Against the Storm. It is a roguelite city builder. How often do you see that? So you're
Nice.
supposed, which
Interesting.
means you're actually on a time limit on how to manage your city before the storm comes. That's why it's called Against the
Mhm.
Storm. It's pretty interesting, very good. It's got the fantasy feels with the fantastic races, like obviously humans, lizard men. There are beavers. Yeah, beavers. And then also a whole bunch of other races that have their own specialties, and you have to micromanage them to make sure that your village stays alive until the storm comes. When it doesn't, then again we rinse and repeat. New stuff, new buildings unlocked until you find a sweet spot of surviving. Yeah,
All right.
that's for
Cool,
me.
cool, cool. Me, hindi natin sinabi.
Sure. Go ahead, Ron.
Kasi sila eh. You guys did your weekend, the once a month game day, right?
Yes.
How was it?
You,
I did.
ihuli ka namin. Muna
Sure.
ako. Kasi ako yung nainggit. Hindi ako nakapaglaro masyado.
We all are.
So I've been playing this game called Isle of Arrows. I think I talked about it a little bit last time. But basically it's a deck building game / tower defense. And it is the way it's So now I'm a little bit deeper into the game. A few more levels and um, sort of cooler. It used to be that you just have arrow towers, and maybe if you're lucky, it'll be upgraded to a cannon tower. But then later on, you'll get a ballista, then you'll get a sniper tower, then you'll get a. There's this one that will throw a boulder. And what's interesting with the boulder is yung talagang area of ano niya of impact, dalawang tiles lang. So you put it on, it's just two tiles. However, if you create a road na dire-diretso, the boulder will keep on rolling until it hits a wall. So, pag nga meron ka ngayong ganun, parang gusto mo ngayong i-design yung kalsada mo na dadaanan nila na mas mahaba. And then you're gonna put parang ice traps doon para bumagal sila, etc. etc. So, ngayon, the way the game makes it more complex is that it will, of course, just give you restrictions. So at the beginning, just you're dealing with one island, then you can possibly get bridges and bombs. Bombs allows you to sort of override existing tiles. The bombs, that's the bombs. The bridges allows you to extend the island. But then as you progress the game, it will just randomly, okay, for level, pag kunyari, so you normally have 50 rounds of 50 wave, 40 waves. So round wave 20, bigla niyang dadagdagan ng isa pang island. And wave 30, isa pa ulit island. So now you've built an island that you hopefully you have managed to somehow navigate your roads so that you can reuse some of the cannons that you were able to build on the first island, and somehow nung in-expand siya dun sa kabila, you can still somehow reuse them. Otherwise, you have to start investing in those. So sana may enough money ka. But the thing is, para sa drafting, you only have 2 cards. Actually, you can only play 1 card at a time. And you pay money to skip it. So ganun yung sistema niya. Para siyang either you pass or you play and then play the time. So it's really challenging.
Our defense.
Yeah. So
That's
tower defense and
interesting. Huh.
Deck building. The art style looks kind of like very minute simplified version of Monument Valley. So that style, but you have your small enemies like lemmings, moving down the road.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
But they kill them all. Hey, speaking of
Yun.
that, there's another particular game I want to talk about. Have you ever heard of a time management roguelike?
I have seen that.
It's
Where
called
did I
Dome
see
Keeper.
that?
It's called Dome Keeper, where you both manage
Meaning-
mining. Hi, Mark. Good evening. Where
Yun.
you actually mine below your dome and then defend it when the enemies come. So you have to manage your time from up and then below too as well. It's pretty interesting. A
Cool.
time management roguelite.
So yung
There you go.
at
Oh,
the
the Isle of Arrows.
Isle of Arrows. It's a deck building tower defense that's
Boy.
pretty. Although it's really purely mechanics. There's nothing else to it. It's like I am just a game about mechanics. That's it. There's no storyline. It's relaxing thing and just
Would
that
you need a
relaxing feel of just arrows killing things. Yon. Okay. Now,
All right.
Jape, because
Boom.
you
Jape.
just had your monthly get together.
Yeah.
Congrats. It is now
Thank you.
the 9th session. is
Yes,
it?
I think it's the 9th. Yeah.
Yeah.
9th month.
Yeah.
9 months already. Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cool.
Well, yun. Anyway, umpisahan ko muna with video games that I've been playing for the past few days, Since last week nabanggit ko nga na me and my wife we've been playing Cuphead and grabe, sobrang sakit sa ulo. So
You always have to
Yeah.
wear a cup.
yeah, I know. So ngayon, whenever we play that, kapag masakit na yung ulo namin, lilipat kami sa ibang game which is Lego DC Villains. 'Di ba?
Mm.
Pampa-distress. It's a
Mhm.
co-op game na Lego game, 'di ba? Right? So,
Village. Yeah, I
ang
think I
ang
know
ang
it.
yeah, yeah. So ang masarap dun is manira ka lang ng manira ng stuff, collect coins, 'di ba? So, hindi ka madaling mamatay, hindi tulad sa Cuphead. So, ayun.
Mhm.
Lego DC
Fair
How
Villains.
enough.
not to
Anyway,
die.
yes, there we go. So, yun. So, by the way, last Saturday was our ninth um monthly gathering, no, with
Mhm.
Bacoor and Imus.
Bacoor and
So,
Imus game group.
yeah, game group, oo.
Woo!
Actually nga, meron nga kaming inside joke eh. Because
Mhm.
there's Bacon,
Mhm.
kami naman ang Biko,
Ah,
Bacoor, Imus,
nice.
Convention. Biko, no?
I
Pinoy na
love
Pinoy.
it.
That's smart. I
I
like that.
I
Yeah, yeah,
love it.
yeah.
I love it.
Hindi tayo dun sa social ng mga bacons. Dito tayo sa ano, sa
Biko.
Grabe.
Pinoy na Pinoy.
Grabe
Biko.
siya. Mas mahal lang Biko. Kung mag kung ano lang yan, kung Mighty Meaty o kaya CDO Bacon, di ba? Ano lang yan. Or lalo na yung nakarepack sa palengke na walang
Yeah.
pangalan talaga.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mostly
Well,
fat.
anyway. Yeah, ano lang, inside joke.
Uh,
But anyway, so what we're trying to do now as of itong January, is since we start ng 10 a.m. and then natatapos kami ng 10 p.m. Usually some of the guys umuwi na ng mga I don't know, mga 7, 8. And then
Mhm.
just lang, mga a couple of people na lang ang natitira hanggang closing. Siguro mga about 10 people. So, ang ginagawa namin is at the end of the night, as much as possible we play a big group game, party games. Para kasi it's different na kapag may kanya-kanya kayong tables kasi nga maraming uma-attend and then you don't get to play with other people that much kasi nga habang naglalaro sila pag tapos ka na hanap ka ulit ng panibago, hindi mo na makakalaro yung ibang nasa ibang table. So what we're trying to do now is at the end of the night meron tayong lahat tayo maglaro ng isang game, may it be a party game or whatever kind of game na lahat is involved. So yun.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what we played last Saturday was Dead Last.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
the bato fix one. I know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Ang nakakatuwa ay most of us or them, no, actually, is they haven't played that game. So,
Mhm.
oo. Kasi doon sa game group, they don't really play social deductive games that much.
Mhm.
Although
Mhm.
Deadlast is not a social deductive game, pero I mean, it's nice to see how people play cards ng alam mo yun. I mean, depending doon sa personality ng person, So,
Mhm.
yeah, Deadlast it's a good game. It's a game of nasa isang table tayo. There's golds sa gitna ng table, so we're trying to kill everyone, every round. So, kumbaga parang matira matibay. So, it's a fun game. Nakakatuwa naman. Ayun. So, yeah, that's what
Yeah,
happened
I
this
think
Saturday.
well, especially for the people I know that play there, a lot of them are very on the economic games. So I think
Yes.
a social deduction game like Dead Last is something they would appreciate because it's not purely
Mm.
social deduction,
Mm.
right? There's some more mechanics involved, not the straight
Mm.
up no, you're the
Yeah.
spy or you're the
Yeah. Oo.
The usual. You're the werewolf.
yeah,
Yeah.
diba?
Yeah.
You're Merlin, and then that's just it.
Yeah.
Yep. So I
So,
think
there you go.
kaya I appreciated a lot si Blood in the Clock Tower
Mhm.
because there is so although the way they created mechanics in the game is still very role playing based.
Mm.
It was done such that players get to enjoy their character and slowly get into the role playing aspect rather
Oh
than
yeah.
parang yun nga you're in it right away and you have to just start assuming the worst of people.
And they do come out. Yes, folks,
Yeah,
they really
sure,
do.
sure, sure. No, no,
Mm.
same thing with me. I
The worst of
um
people.
yeah.
Have you guys tried Japet, the game
Uh,
called what do you call this? The Last Banquet.
Last banquet. No.
That's a game for
It's
at
a
least
it's a lit yeah.
eight to
It's
twenty
a little
five
old,
people.
but yeah. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Theo.
it's a game whereas you have there are some many scenarios, but main
Mm-hmm.
scenario usually is who among you should be two teams vying to kill the king first, and
Mm-hmm.
one of you is the king. But every single one of you has a role, and every
Mm-hmm.
single one of you of the roles actually have a certain ability that you can do during the game. But only one of each team is the assassin. And no,
Mm,
assassin is not a role. It's only a
Mm-hmm.
designation because
Mm-hmm.
the assassin could be any of the roles in each team. So at the end of the round, normally, usually, whoever's assassin is beside the king wins. And some abilities will help you understand who the assassins are in the other team. Therefore, you have to what do you call this? Manipulate the system. Like the
Mm-hmm.
queen can change seats with anybody else. The knave can do something like no, the queen can stop someone from changing seats. Like let's exchange seats. No, yeah, the queen will say no.
mhm,
But the knave can bypass particular rules too and exchange seats whenever a
Mm-hmm.
certain trigger happens. So it's a party, literally a party and chair
yeah,
game.
yeah. So
Okay.
you really have to move around, no? You have to really
You
Mm.
do
change
have
seats.
to, yes.
So
All
maganda
right.
siya if you're like drinking and maybe kasama sa kwentuhan.
Okay.
I remember Dwayne created a so when we had those parang mini conventions in the past, Dwayne created a game called if I'm Steal the Coin. And basically there's a coin in the middle of the room and you have sides. You have when you come in you're given a side what in a bit of rolls. And you're trying to find where the coin would be. And what's always funny about that, I'm not sure if that's the name of the game, Dwayne, if you're still watching. Um, if, if you can remind me the name. Ine-explain pa lang yung rules, yung coin nawawala na.
That's
It's
leading.
literally
Oh.
in the
Okay.
middle of everyone. Here's the coin. And while explaining the rules, the coin will disappear. And
Oh.
then the whole night we will be playing and while playing, but at the same time we're always like, are you ano? Ano ko ba? Yeah. There's this side
Kumupit.
game.
Kumupit
Yeah.
ka.
And people
Oh.
are just looking for constantly trying to figure out where people are. Cool. Okay. So,
Hey
good
Ken, how
evening.
are ya? Evening.
Okay. So let's now talk to our main topic for today. And I'm sure
Ooh,
it is
AI.
something maybe that you've encountered in social media lately. But we're not going to go into the details more on that aspect, or we're going to be focusing on is just like what Japet is experiencing. You actually go to um, what's the name of the venue again, Japet? In
Seraphine's restaurant.
Serafin. So Serafin's restaurant, if I'm not mistaken, does the meanest cochinillo, right?
Oh. Um. Well, actually, is that conchinillo? No, the food, yung best food nila. So lechon belly. It's
Yeah,
it's
lechon
lechon
bell.
belly.
Okay, okay,
Oh
Lechon belly.
okay.
man.
So yes, that is what they're known for. But I mean, so if ever you guys get to go, aside from getting to game at the Bacor Imos group, the food is fantastic.
Ay,
But going
talaga
back to
naman.
that
Mm.
aspect, no, na um, it's all we found it as leaders in advocating board gaming that it's actually quite difficult to invite people to your house. because
Mhm.
we're Filipinos. It's very odd to just find a stranger, post on the internet, here's my address, and go to my house. It doesn't connect in a Philippine setting. But you can easily say, here's a restaurant, let's go there because it's a public space, and let's have our game there. And we have many episodes in the past where we talked about how to organize this such event, and it follows the same principles that variable play has been sort of running on for the past decade, which is going around the idea of openness, welcomeness, supportiveness, and regularity. So you want
Mm.
to be open with people. You want to welcome them as warm as you could. Um, you you want to be able to support the venue, and you want to have it in a fairly regular setup. That was our core idea. Um, and what we also realized is that we haven't really talked about how do you actually sort of what are the good or what are tips on how to behave, or at least how to navigate playing in such a place. And fortunately, with today's modern world, we don't have to think about the answers anymore.
No thinking, folks. No thinking at all.
No
Zero
thinking,
thinking.
no think. We didn't think about this. Just to prove this is from ChatGPT. Here you go. Let me show my screen. There, I asked it. Good habits in playing board games in public like restaurants, cafes, libraries, and stores. So it listed some items. I already copied them, and I already placed them in the banner section of uh, our streaming app. So we're gonna go through them one at a time, and we're just gonna react.
Yeah,
So,
salamat
Let's go.
Chat GTP
so
GPT
thank you,
for
thank
thinking for
you
us. Yes.
for reducing the need of humans to think for themselves.
Magiging
Go back.
weekly guest na natin si
AI.
GPT, ah.
Oh, dapat meron ng
We're gonna make a
dapat
series of this.
dapat may avatar si ChatGPT sa atin.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So number one. So again, this is not necessarily arranged in order. It's just how ChatGPT sort of pulled up the information. Okay. So number one is being open to see. Para sa nakikinig siguro nagbabasa ng variable play to. Or nakikinig sa
Oh, he
variable.
knows us. He knows us.
Yeah.
We're close.
He or she or it knows us. Or yeah, whichever. Being open to playing with others and willing to teach the rules to those who are interested. Yes. So as yun nga, if you approach and go to a public venue, so if you see, oh, may game day doon, then ang pinaka-request namin, be ready to play games. And don't worry na you don't know how to play a certain game. Ang setup lagi sa mga open game meets is that somebody will teach the game. And if not, somebody can sit down, learn the rules, and then learn the game as we are playing. So it's not something na kailangan you've read the rules before you've gone there. So it's something that you can easily just pick up and play, or it's something that people would teach. Okay,
All
so
right.
that's
You don't need to practice before going to the venue. You're like, oh, okay, I can do this deck building. If I do three in round three, I can do this. No, it is not. You just go
no.
there expecting to have fun, and also
Mhm.
maybe expect to learn something new.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, not everybody who goes through this game meets know each other, but eventually at
Yes.
the end of the night or at the end of the day, they do.
Or after a few months.
Yes, depending on your attitude. Yes, after a few months.
After a few months, I mean, you know each other. Like, you know exactly how they play, what is their preference, ano yung type nilang games, but you might not necessarily know their names. You just know them. You're like really close friends
Who are you
without
again?
without the actual name. The yellow player.
Yeah, but
Okay.
sometimes the memories are more fun than names.
Oh,
Like,
sure,
hey,
sure,
you're the
Sure.
guy who did this to me in last game.
Exactly. You still owe me from that game.
You still owe me. Oh, you're the werewolf.
I will never trust you. Okay,
That's
so
bad.
next one is actually quite interesting because we also talked about this when
Mm.
we talked about setting up uh, game game days or game groups and finding their venue. Before you start playing, ask the staff if it's okay to play games in that establishment before you start. Why?
Mm.
Because
Let's expound.
yeah, the the reality is the business might be ha- the staff that's there. They're not the owners, so their bosses might have some certain policies that was cascaded to them, and they can't really, they're put in a position that they either can get reprimanded by their boss, or get fired from their jobs because they're not following the instructions, or they're forced to, not be as friendly as they would want to be with you. Whereas what we've done is we first asked, hey, can we talk to the manager? Maybe on the next 2 weeks we plan to hold the game day here. Is it okay? What is your most advisable day where it's not busy? There's not a lot of people. So again, make it conducive for the venue to allow you to play there. Why? Because end of the day they need to make money. They need to feed everybody that's in the payroll. They need so they have families and they have dependents. And spending one if you take space from them but it's not part of their business model, then it might hamper or become detrimental to their business. Okay?
So don't just buy Hopia and go and play. Okay, wait, nor this. Actually, this is a pretty serious thing. Don't just ask the first guard or the first clerk that you see or the first waiter you see in the restaurant. Always try to find someone in charge.
With yes, yes.
Okay.
In fact, one of our favorites in Alabang before was Coco Hut. And to
Yes.
this day, people still say Coco Hut was like the best game venue. It just so happened that the business was not doing quite well overall. Eventually, it closed. But the approach there was we really talked to the manager, and the manager had to come back to us. Like we called, asked the manager, "Hey, here's our plan, here's our idea," and then we did some test games there. We chose the Monday because it was what they said nga, that's their most convenient day. And yun, we slowly introduced ourselves and over time, matagal din, siguro mga at least a year or two, then, or maybe even more, that we were playing there. Yun lang, talagang kahit ibang araw na wala rin kami doon, wala rin masyadong tao doon. Nung huli na. Pero nung una, okay.
Mm.
And we were, in essence, creating foot traffic to a place that might not necessarily had enough traffic. So, kung very busy yung venue, hindi ko rin mare-recommend as a location. Kasi nga, you're basically removing income from them from the turnover of tables. In the business of restaurants and cafes, turnover yung pag-ikot ng kakain, so because every run of the table then they have a new round of income. Okay, next is, and literally ngayon ko lang siya binabasa. So also,
Chat
if you're
GTP.
playing with a group, to be considerate to other customers by not talking too loudly and blocking the walkway. Okay,
Hey,
Mhm.
don't block the
yan.
walkway.
Ang galing talaga ni ChatGPT. Amazing, amazing pointers. Um, Ako dun sa talking too loudly. Again, if we're in a public setting, then it's
Mhm.
no longer private. And if it's not private, if you talk too loud, just imagine if you weren't playing, no? You're just having a conversation, you're having coffee, and somebody shouting right beside you. What do you think will you feel?
Mhm.
It would be very disturbing, right? It would not be a comfortable space for you because you don't, maybe you might not necessarily understand what's happening. but they might be, dealing with something or talking something private, and then suddenly nga, a lot of loud people. Of course, there are still a lot of loud people in cafes. That's really
Mm.
there. Pero siguro, mas maganda hindi na tayo kasama doon. Di ba? Kung
Yeah.
sayang naman ang ating board game skill sets kung hanggang sa tabletop lang ang ating pag-analyze of what's the best move forward. So, and then yung blocking the walkway, agree yan. Kasi pagka ang dami mong mga games, ang dami mong baka kasi may matalisod, di ba? The waiting staff, again, they're not familiar. Do you guys ever notice that if you play at a board game cafe or maybe restaurant, the waiters don't know how to put the food at the table? As
Yeah,
in, they
oo.
really hesitate because again,
Mhm.
they're not familiar. They're not gamers. So I know where kumbaga parang they end up attracting towards the things that dapat hindi naman nila mapagpatungan. But again, they're really not knowledgeable and have no experience about this. So what we also do, and again, yun nga, be proactive. Just assist them. Ay, kuya, sige po, ako na po. Ako na po magbababa. Kasi again, hindi nila kabisado. It's not their world. It's something quite new. They're welcoming your support in terms of bringing buyers to their venue, but at the same time nga, help them also. And minsan, we offer them also na whenever there's a chance to, like, hey, gusto niyo pong matutunan how to play. I think nakapagpalaro na ako ng guard. So,
Wow, really?
uh, so si Kuya Guard the best one was the janitor. There was a janitor, and then napalaro namin siya, and it was hold it. Tapos yun.
Mhm.
Tapos tinalo niya lahat ng mga kasama niya. So yun. Be
What's your take on
kind
this,
and
Japet? Any
Go ahead.
particular experience you have, Japet, on this?
Yeah. Actually, before kaming settle sa Seraphine's restaurant, meron kaming ibang pinupuntahan na
Right.
restaurant.
I got to go
Hmm.
there too.
Yeah. Somewhere along the highway, 'di ba, sa Imus. It's also an option since if you're going to spend hours and hours of playing sa isang restaurant and napag-usapan nyo na we're going to order food every 2-3 hours, siguro it's also an option na if the restaurant if meron silang private room, might as well rent the private room.
Right. Oo.
Diba?
Kumbaga parang if may in essence may cost siya, pero you're buying the privacy for
Yes.
not only for you but also
Also for
respecting
the
the
other-
privacy of the other customers. Agree, definitely.
Correct. Yeah.
You can sing and dance while you're playing and then walang may istorbo, 'di ba? It's a
Yeah.
win-win for
Yep.
everyone.
Yep.
True.
Agree.
Hey,
Agree.
so
I like
guys, if there's a VIP room, you take it. Take the VIP room.
Well,
Kayo, pagka ikaw nagsasabi ng VIP kasi
It's a cafe.
tama.
Usually,
Okay.
it's usually called the VIP room. Very
Tama.
important people who paid. Yeah, very
Right.
important paid.
Very important people. No, I remember Ludus was still open. So Ludus is already a board game cafe, no?
Yeah.
Pero nakakatuwa dun sa set because again, dahil board game cafe sila, they really are parang understanding of the needs of gamers. Even the gamers, meron silang layering. Meron
Mhm.
general parang gaming area kasi nga these are sort of more gateway. The social deduction table would also more likely be played in those areas. And then they have a quiet area. In quiet
Mhm.
area is if you're gonna be playing Euros or some more thinky games, yun yung mas recommended lang section. And if you're gonna be playing RPGs na you want your own privacy, then they also offered rooms. Yan,
VIP.
yun nga. Again,
Yeah.
ang problema, and ito yung hindi naman siguro, I'm not an expert on this, pero mahirap kumita kung yun lang yung business model. At least, parang ang hirap makabawi ng business if ang if ang charging mo was simply the people that went there and then stayed 6 to 8 hours to play. Yun yung kumbaga from the vantage point from the outside, if you spent ang rent mo for example is 150-400,000 a month, tapos ilang chicken rice yung kailangan orderin para lang mabayaran yung renta. Buti kung 200,000 lang. Kung nasa Makati yun, baka mas malaki pa. So, yun yung renta pa lang yung wala pang kuryente, wala pang staff, wala pang ibang lahat. So, anyway, before we continue, there's a lot of good comments, so we're gonna pick those up. Abby said, we played before in a cafe here in Molito called Single Origins. Really nice restaurant. Really good coffee. Before the day we played, we asked permission and booked the slot. Perfect. We played there for 8 hours and we ordered every 2 to 3 hours. We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So dun pa lang, si venue, very grateful din sila. Kasi even if you spent more than the most customers that they have for that spot, you still were able to at least cover the turnover of those tables. So, okay na yun. Kumbaga, depende nga ako ang pagbilang ko dyan, depende pa sa kung gaano ka busy yung venue. Kasi kung di naman busy yung venue, di okay lang. Parang breakfast, lunch, dinner. Pag sobrang busy ng venue, tataas yung kasi kumbaga sa turnover, ang iisipin ko na parang kailangan ko nang mag-contribute ulit. Parang nahihiya na ako, teka lang uminit na ulit yung upuan ko teka. Tayo na ako, contribute ako ulit. Minsan nga, ginagagawa pa nga namin ni Javi. Alala ko dati, punong-puno no? So, mag-order kami, mamaya man serve, busog pa ako
Tama, yan. Exactly what I was about to say.
Ginawa ko na yung ilang beses.
Defer your
tapos
orders
ang mangyari doon, take out na. Take out na kasi wala na, busog na kami. Kaso sa dami ng tao, parang kami, tara, order pa tayo kasi, kumbaga, we're really occupying space na nakikita mo naman kung may mga nakatayo pa. Sabi pa ni accommodated, they got an awesome table to accommodate the site and on Mars. They have enough space for the table. So yun.
She measured, Abby measured the table.
Mineasure niya para meron siyang space para sa food, meron siyang space para sa
if Abby, if you brought a measuring tape, then yeah, I salute you. No? But
may app naman daw, may app.
May app.
May measure stick.
Yep, that's big enough for Sai.
Okay. So, next is
Hi, Michael.
Hey.
Okay,
ito
here we go. Next.
Yan. Be mindful of the time, especially when you're playing in a busy establishment where the tables may be in high demand. So, ito yung sinasabi ko nga kanina na there are times na it's not enough na nakabili ka ng every so-and-so hours. Kasi, if the venue is busy, so, for example, guys, aminin nyo na, pagka pumunta ka sa restaurant at finally dumating na yung pagkain, ilang minutes nyo lang para kainin. Hindi kayo maabot ng isang oras. In 15 minutes, malamang paubos na yun. Ang matitirang 15 to another 45 minutes, kape na lang yun. Kape kwentuhan na lang. Sa sobrang gutom nyo.
Double rice.
Diba?
So may 5 minutes.
Diba? Bilis lang masarap pa. Pag-serve ni na kuya, dire-diretso. So,
parang laureate lang
in an hour's time, makakapagpuno agad sila ulit. O may nakita mo, may nakapila pa. Literal yung pag tumayo ka, meron na sila makaupo. Benta na dapat yun. So, and again, hindi naman sa siyempre, yung high traffic days nila, pagbawi lang yun sa slow days.
Yeah.
Kasi hindi naman every day of the week mga mataas ang demand Kaya nga ang offering nga namin kadalasan is the days na matumal in term
Yeah.
na ginagamit ng mga negosyo, is the days that are the business is low, and it's the perfect time to be, setting up a day there, kasi it really works for them. So yun, be careful of the time. Isa pa may dadagdag ko dun sa time is kung closing na, bago mag-closing, magsimula na kayo mag-pack up. Bakit? I understand, ang saya pa maglaro, there's a lot of things. Pero hindi mo na-realize si kuya hindi makauwi sa pamilya niya kasi nakatingin para
May-
siya doon sa lamesang hindi niya pa naririnig.
May customer
And-
pa. Yun lang.
May customer
Sure.
pa. And ang reality dyan is by the time umalis kayo, finally nakasarado na, mayroon pa yung additional 30 minutes to an hour plus 1 hour pa sila ulit. So anong oras na sila nakuwi? Ngayon ito pa yung makulit dyan. Sa tingin nyo, kaya ba nilang i-charge yun as OT? Hindi.
Hindi.
Kasi hindi official yun eh. Hindi naman siya official na dapat nagsarado na sila eh. Ang nangyari, we forced their hand is hindi naman sila napipilitan sila mag-extra time. Ngayon, paminsan-minsan siguro maintindihan naman, pero kung regular game group kayo, tapos every time ganun, yun lang. Ito masakit na yun. Masakit na kina kuya yon, kina ate yon, kasi talaga kung anong oras na ng madaling araw sila uuwi. So pagod, hintayin pa sa inyo, syempre hindi nakakatawa. So yun lang. Let's be
Sila mismo nagsabi na ayan na naman sila. Ayan na naman.
And again,
Ano ngayon? Wednesday. Oo, Wednesday.
Oo, di ba? I totally understand. So kaya astig yung kaya pinipili namin venue kadalasan dati, yung 24 hours.
Mhm.
Okay lang kahit inumaga ka, 24 hours sila eh. 'Di ba? Tapos ang style pa namin, pag tayo namin, kami na maglilinis.
Ay,
Nakabawas
Kigo.
lang. Nakabawas lang.
Kigo.
'Di ba? Kahit na hindi ganoon yung policy nila, kami na maglilinis kasi again,
Pusa.
hindi nila trabaho na mag-ayos nung kumbaga iiwanan ng game night niya eh. Yung food lang yung cargo nila eh. Ang problema, may iba pa tayong kalat, may yung lamesa, magulo pa. So, ganun lang. Kung be mindful and again, be more graceful to the servers, I think it would go a long way.
Mhm.
Yeah, tapos iiyak kayo na nawala isang token nyo. Make sure na you
Ah,
know
there
everything
you
and
go.
make sure you clean it up properly talaga. If you want more time to edi plan ahead. Okay? Don't just stay
Yep.
there like
Yep.
some vacation. Hindi siya pang glamping post. Sir, ma'am. Restaurant seats are not made for people to sit long, which means something's wrong with your puwet. Okay. Next.
Okay,
Mhm.
actually, yun nga yun. Meron pala siyang sinabing ganun.
Yes.
Clean up after yourself and putting all the pieces back together. ChatGPT is knows everything. Okay. Next is yan. Okay. Be respectful to others and allow them to enjoy their experience as well. So ito going back dun sa gaming experience ng people that will visit, no? But also the same thing with customers. With other customers, ito naman siguro yung parang advice ko dun. If there's an image or a chance for players or potential players to be attracted to our hobby, they would, at least one of the aspects that they would be attracted to is the culture and the community. If the community feels like, grabe ang welcoming naman nila, mukhang masaya silang kasama, hindi naman sila unruly, hindi sila magulo. A perfect story ko dito was, we were playing in Starbucks and one guy was passing by and napa-double take siya. He looked at the tables and I smiled, like, "Hi sir, gusto niyo pong maglaro?" And then siguro when I don't know what energy I have that day, okay lang ba? Yes sir, please. So hesitate and then sat down and now is one of like the regular people that go to our game days. And I guess if the crowd was welcoming and calm enough na parang it's comfortable for them to join. No? So,
Mhm.
yun yung siguro parang something you wanna imbibe. So, at least pag nakita ng ibang tao, hindi yung, ay, grabe naman sa mga to. Diba? Parang mahirap yung may masabi pang ganun. And again, hindi mo masisisi sila because they're looking at it from a vantage point, that's really far and something that they don't understand. And then if the
Yeah.
only inputs that they have is, the very loud people,
Mm.
hindi, kumbaga, wala ka na madaanan, magulo,
Mm.
maingay, then, ah, I'm not sure how we can make that image positive, no?
Mm.
Yan.
Yeah.
Japet,
Okay.
anything?
Yeah, actually may dagdag akong story diyan ano.
Uy, sorry,
First
sorry.
ever game day. So magulo. I mean, ang daming attendees. And then doon sa corner may isang lalaki at isang babae na they're having coffee together. And then sabi ko sa wife ko, bantayan mo sila baka kasi interested maglaro. And then after some time, tumayo sila, lumapit sila doon kasi what we did back then was sa isang table, andun lahat ng games. So you can
Right.
pick a game, you play it with other people. So what they did, tumayo sila, lumapit sila doon sa table of games.
Mhm.
And then nilapitan siya ni wife. And then nagtanong si girl, sabi niya, is this game like for free? Sabi niya, yeah, I mean, pwede siyang laruin. We can teach you. Sabi niya, I mean, is this owned by the restaurant ba? Ganun? Or, no, sabi ni wife, no. I mean, kami yung group na nag-gather dito and we own this game. So, everyone is, welcome. So, yeah, I mean, ayun, kumbaga, we should be, kumbaga, alert dapat sa mga ganung bagay.
Right.
Di
Right.
ba?
You wanna
If,
you wanna pay
oo,
attention to
yes.
the customers, the people
Mm-mm.
around you. Be
Mm-mm.
mindful about
Yeah, yeah.
their well-being as compared lang to
Mm-mm.
just playing your games.
Yeah,
Kasi
yeah.
nga, baka nga, people might be interested or at the very least, ay, may nagiging dun eh. Okay naman sila.
Mm-mm.
Makulit
Yeah.
lang paminsan pero alam mo yun, parang ang saya nila eh. Yun
Yeah.
yung magandang magandang image na maiwan natin. Parang ang saya nila.
Mm.
Hindi yung ang gulo naman nila or ang ingay nila
Gulo
or
niya!
alam mo yun.
Gulo niya! Sino ba mga to? Grabe
Right?
yarn.
Grabe yarn.
Grabe yarn. Basta importante, Ron's right.
Mm.
My win take on this is that, let's leave a good impression.
Right.
Kasi each and every one of you guys who play board games in venues like this represent the community.
Mhm.
If you like it
Yep.
or not, you do represent a whole group. And please be mindful of everyone around you. You're in a public place. Mind the people you play with. Mind the people that you are around with. People who are also customers, even strangers, even the staff.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hey,
Agree.
Clint. Good
Okay.
evening. Hello.
Good evening. Hello, hello. She measured them with her hands.
So how many hands is Sai? Sai is what 2.5 hands wide.
Hi, Sir
Length.
William.
Hey, Sir
Ayan.
William.
Okay. Last one that ChatGPT said was okay, ito. This is actually quite true. So medyo hindi lang ganun ka-organized yung pagkakalatag ni ChatGPT. Be mindful of your belongings, especially if you're playing in a public space, because actually this one we experienced. We were so nasa yellow cab kami. I was teaching Zangwo. Zangwo is this. It's not really the framework is very simple. You will either play to parang the top row or the bottom row, and then things happen. But the level of things that would happen as you sort of build your uh, empires of China is that it becomes quite complex. So we were so engrossed with it, sobrang naaliw kami sa idea na na nanakaw yung isang bag nung kasama natin na advocate. And so nung akala namin na iwan lang niya sa labas, nag-request kami kung pwede bang silipin yung CCTV. Sinilip namin yung CCTV. And I kid you not, all of us, kita sa CCTV, naka-hunch doon sa game. The guy passes by, binalikan kami. Sa pangatlong balik niya, ano lang, ginamit lang niya yung paa niya para parang iusog slowly yung bag. Tapos nung naiusog na niya yung bag, pinokpit, nilakad palabas. Kami, zero. Wala kaming naramdaman. We were so engrossed in the game. Ngayon, that is such a important note. Kasi nga, yung game okay lang to a certain degree. Actually, hindi nila papatulan yun eh. Yung bag mo, yun yung pwedeng patulan nila. So, when you are in a venue, kahit na sabihin mo public yan, you're mostly with people that you know, the rest are not. And they can, diba yung mga, they have those parang optical illusion type video exercises where there's a gorilla dancing in the middle of the video and we won't notice. So yun, we have a lot of blind spots. So yun lang. When you're playing in public, be careful with your things, be mindful. So secure your space and your area. Public pa rin siya.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very,
I have
very
something
good
to add to that,
Please do,
I mean,
please do.
Yeah. That's the point of view para doon sa security ng players, Pero also being mindful kung yung gamit natin ay pakalat-kalat sa venue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Agree.
isa ko yung pet peeve when we play eh. Mapapansin niyo ako minsan after my turn, mag-aayos ako ng mga bags. Kasi I mean, 'di ba? Masakit sa mata para doon sa store owner na makita niyang pinapalaro ko na nga kayo. But then again,
Ang
kayo
gugulo
pa
doon.
yung nanggugulo doon sa place, 'di ba?
Kasi parang ang
At-
ganda-ganda ng restaurant ko.
Yeah. Oh.
So, every month na lang mo ang dugyutin.
Ayan, so yeah, there you go.
Cool. Ayun.
Yeah, that's a good point. Don't let bags sit down on chairs, okay? If it's your table, fine, put your bag there. But if it's someone else's table or no one's sitting there, don't hug it up with your bags, please.
Yeah.
It's not a locker. It's not a gym. It's a public restaurant.
Oh,
or
actually,
public
ang pinaka-safe sa
thing.
bags, mas secure siya if you can secure it in the middle, kumaga underneath your table.
Yeah, wrap
mas
it around
secure
your
siya. And then,
legs, your feet, anything.
and if yun nga, if you can let people know you have your bag there, when you have to stand up, pabantay ka lang kasi nga again, don't be too confident pagka nasa public venue.
Correct.
Kasi yun,
Yes.
public venue pa rin siya. So ingat sa paglalapag ng mga cellphone sa lamesa. Ako nadali na ako niyan, buti na lang isa pansin ko
Diba?
siya na yung laglag bariyagan.
Yun.
That's really true. So talagang maglalaglag, mapapalingon ka, paglingon mo, nadadampot na yung phone na hindi mo napapansin kasi yung mata mo nga na-redirect na. So yun.
That's true. Kasi nga, I mean, there are signs all over in some restaurants. And it's true when they say, watch your things, the restaurant or the establishment is not reliable for your lost items.
Yeah.
That goes for everybody. For all
Sabi nga
places.
nila, pagka yung mga staff or nagsasabi na, mag-ingat to sa mga gamit, kadalasan actually, may na-spot na sila.
Yes, they know.
Na parang kutob nila na potentially So, ang problema yung mga tao nila nag-iingat talaga. And yun, kami na-experience na namin talaga siya na parang, what? And shocking to see na parang as if wala kami talagang, we were so clueless about what was happening. But yun. So, yan. Hindi ko tuloy mabili-bili ulit yung Zangwo na yun kasi parang
Bad memories.
memories. Oo. Pero ang na-recover na ni si DJ yun na-recover na niya yung Jolly Roger, na-recover na rin niya yung crossing. I think may isang game na lang yata ang hindi na-recover. I mean, recover meaning like nabili na niya ulit. Pero yung bag niya
Ano ba?
wala na.
Akala ko.
Although wala namang ibang laman yung bag.
Ng ginakaw.
Actually, ang last trip doon is laman ng bag board games din. So,
Mhm.
okay lang. Okay lang. Pero 'di ba kung it wasn't board games anymore,
Okay,
we'd
it's
really touch.
okay. Pero as your collection eh. Siyempre,
Yeah.
anything valuable to yourself is also something very valuable.
Yeah.
Yep.
And maybe if it's games,
Yun.
it's game. You know, it
So,
still hurts.
as a recap, yan. Sabi ni ChatGPT, teka. Share na natin si ChatGPT. Okay. So, sabi niya, be mindful of your
Okay.
surroundings and make sure na i-add ko ba siya sa screen? Yes, na-add ko. Make sure you're not taking up too much space or making too much noise. Be respectful
Yes.
for others, allowing them to enjoy their experience as well. Clean up after yourself and
Clean
putting
up.
on the pieces back in the box before leaving. Being open to playing with others and willing to teach the rules of those who are interested. So, can be welcoming, be open. Asking the staff, ito, napaka-importante, if it's okay to play games, before you go there, before even starting, bago ka pumunta, magtanong ka na kung pwede kang tumawag, may phone number yan madalas, magtanong na kayo, and it's the better
Magsukat
way
na
of
ng
approach.
tables.
Magsukat na ng
Magsukat na kayo ng
tables,
tables. Pero wag
gamitin nyo na
wag mo na
yung,
maglaro.
uh,
Keyword
and
here is before. Okay?
yeah.
Yeah.
If you're playing with a group, be considerate to other customers, okay, by not talking too loudly or blocking the walkway. Yung blocking the walkway, actually, ang pinaprotektahan nyo, pati rin si waiters and the staff kasi mahirap na hindi nila naman kita basta-basta yung dinadaanan. It's not something na may pakalat-kalat na bag na normal nga and hindi yun normal sa kanila. Be mindful of the time. As I mentioned lately kanina, um, aside from, yun nga, importante yung turnover. So, pagka high demand, baka hindi maganda yun ng game day nyo. Kung talagang medyo high demand sa kanila yung araw na yun, it try to find some other day. Maging courteous tayo dun sa livelihoods ng mga tao na who's working there, the establishment who's trying to make to feed their family and feed the people that depend on them. So be mindful of them. Be mindful of the closing time kasi importante nga na kung bago mag-closing, magsimula na kayo mag-pack up kasi ang nangyayari lang doon, mag-overtime sila kuya na hindi sila kayang bayaran kasi hindi naman official yung overtime dahil hindi naman tayo yung nagbabayad ng overtime nila. And
Yep.
yun, sila lang talaga nahihirapan. Consult the staff, of course, if there are concerns. One thing that we established with also pala, with the venues that we work with, they are very much open to give us feedback. So kung may maingay, kung may ano, lahat yun open. Kaya nilang sabihan kami agad, i-call attention na kami kung may problema. They can approach us. Yun ang ginawa din namin na setup. And be respectful of the game, of course. Ito na-mention na last time. Be prepared to bring your own game. And syempre, and yeah, be respectful and play fair. So yun.
Nice.
Very good.
nice.
Thank you, ChatGPT, for such a
Thank you,
a nice
ChatGPT. May I
and
add something,
salamat.
Ron?
Yeah, go ahead. Go. Is there something
Okay.
na may na-miss si
There-
ChatGPT?
It's more personal, really. It's more like if you are the leader of the group, please
Mhm.
be the mature person in the group and to keep everything that we have talked about here in mind for everyone, if at all possible. Okay.
Mhm.
Right.
If they can't be responsible, at least you should be. Especially if you are the leader of the group. How do you define leader of the group? Usually the one who invites, usually the one who organizes.
Those
So always
organizing,
keep in
yeah.
mind, yes, correct. So yun lang. Again, not everybody can keep this all in mind. So at least you should. And for
Yeah,
your
and
group, for your friends, for everybody.
Mhm.
Agree. Perfect. Good reminder. And I think yun nga, as people who are organizing, people who are promoting, to a certain degree, it becomes also our responsibility to keep the establishment that we are running our event in happy. Aside from the patrons who would be joining, and same thing with the customers around them, to a certain degree, by association, magiging responsibility na rin natin sila kasi nga what we're doing is might not necessarily be something normal for them. But if it is an experience that they also, at the very least, will not be bothered with, then I think you'll be able to create a long and fun and continuous relationship with the establishment that you'll be playing in.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh wow.
So, thank you everyone for joining us. This was a fun conversation and more likely marami pa
Mm.
tayong tatanong kay ChatGPT. Madaling
Oh,
gumawa
the
ng
Chat GPT series is still ongoing, folks. Don't you worry. We still don't want to think.
Oh, yes, yes, nagko-comment lang kami. Ayun,
Just
tanong
go.
ni Clint, yung nagnakaw ba is kasama sa game night? No, no. As in,
No,
somebody who
no.
just saw us from the street. There's another CCTV and nakita namin siyang talaga nagsa-scout lang sa area. So talagang pumasok, mag-order, pumasok CR, lumabas ulit. Pagbalik, tinangay na yung bag. And yun, that's it. Alright. So yun. Thank you everyone. Japeth, if you want, you can invite them for your monthly setup. Kailan ang next? Meron naman
Yeah. Actually, for February, wala pa. But then, 11 daw. 11. Feb 11 daw,
okay.
sabi ni wife. Yeah, meron na. Okay.
Meron na pala.
Feb 11. Yeah.
Uy,
Pero,
malapit-lapit yun
yeah. Pero ito pa. Since we're having our 1-year anniversary this May, naman, no?
Wow.
May. We're planning something big. So, for those who are part of the Facebook group, stay tuned kasi we're in the process of planning something. Kaya, ayun, basta we're planning something big for the group and I hope to see you all there.
Nice.
You know,
Okay, exciting,
big surprise.
Exciting. Okay.
Talin na natin yung bacon. May biko na.
Sige. Gusto ko biko. Biko and bacon. Biko. Pwede yun. Actually,
Ulam at ano.
bacon wrapped biko sounds fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean,
So,
you can put bacon bits on top of the biko.
Hindi gusto ko yung biko talaga yung wrap na bacon.
Anyway,
Parang para siyang ginawa mong laing. Okay.
Sure, why not?
What?
Before we go off the rails, thank you everyone for joining us. Until next time, see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. See you next time.